name is Shawnee and I'm a master at small talk. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how you can begin to do that. Every time I talk to people, they tell me how they can't help but just to tell me more, how magnetic I am, how charismatic I am, and I get free things all the time. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is because I only accept 20 to 30% of what I'm offered, and I'm not going to hog all the opportunities up, so here you go. 2 years ago, I asked God how I could begin to become more open and someone that became more attracting. In response to that, God reminded me that I have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. The reason why I'm able to carry a conversation with absolutely anyone is because I make a solid and concerted effort to listen twice as much as I speak. Instead of listening just to respond, listen to understand. If someone starts telling me something and they say, oh yeah, when I was in Arkansas, I'm gonna say, you went to Arkansas? I've never been there. Tell me more about it. And then I'll listen. You have no idea what you could stand to learn from the people that you're around if you would just stop and listen. And listening is not just your ears, it's your entire body language. Are you directly facing them? Are you giving them eye contact? Are you nodding in agreement and following their thoughts? These are all active listening skills. Everyone wants to feel seen and to feel heard. The reason why people feel like they can't help but to just tell me more is because I open up a space for them to tell me more.
You can literally get anything you want in this life if you can learn to master communication. I listened to all 2.5 hours of this podcast. You don't have to. This is attorney Jefferson Fisher, also known as the speaking coach. Here's everything you need to know. 1, learn to pause and breathe when someone is asking you something. So instead of, how was your day? Oh, it was really good. How was your day? It's, how was your day? It was really, really good, actually. I had a great day. How was your day? It shows that you're actually listening to what's being asked of you and you're really present. Train yourself to communicate in this space of pausing and really listening instead of going on autopilot. Whatever you say next, the other person is going to be much more interested in. 2, people with low self-esteem start sentences with, hey, so say things with confidence and say things that are going to push the conversation forward. So instead of, hey, do you think you have time to help me with this? It's, do you think you can help me with this? You don't get confident in your communication before you start communicating. Confidence is as assertive does. When you force yourself to use your assertive voice and take out all those filler nervous words, then you're gonna gain confidence. 3, people that are the least connected are the ones that feel like they always have to put their 2 cents in. These are the same kind of people that love to name drop. Insecurity is loud, confidence is quiet. 4, the more concise you can be, the better. Every single time. This is a trait of super successful people. They're not sending super formalized, wordy, laboriously written emails. Short and to the point, like text messages. 5, if you're ever in a disagreement with someone, always come at it from a place of trying to connect with them instead of trying to prove your point. Some of the best things you could say to someone are things like, you can absolutely disagree with me. I am not trying to change your mind. Something I personally say is, this is just my opinion and my advice. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm not pushing anything on you.
How to speak elegantly and fluently. Number 1, know what you want to say when you are engaging in a conversation. Be intentional rather than being reactive or rather than spewing words in order to be involved in a conversation. It's best to add value in your conversation, and you do this by being intentional. Number 2, avoid filler words. Filler words make you sound less confident and less secure with what you're trying to profess to the other person. When you want to make a point, know exactly what you want to say and be sure that you are knowledgeable about the subject. Number 3, read books and listen to podcasts. What has helped me really strengthen my language and sound more fluid when I speak is because I've listened to those that do podcasts all the time or to interviewers speak to other people, and I'm able to gauge their fluidity when they speak and try to incorporate the words that they use in their podcasts in my day-to-day life. As well with books, when I read books, I'm able to expand my wealth of knowledge and sound more passionate and confident when I'm speaking about something that I really love. Also, when you're reading, you'll probably find a new word. So what I like to do is at least use that word once a week and try to incorporate that in my vocabulary to strengthen my language. When you sound eloquent and fluid, people are able to believe in you more, trust in you more, and rely on you more. Why? Because you have a sense of security in self, and they are not going to listen to someone that doesn't have that. People need stability in order to trust, and your words provide that stability. Okay, I love you, and I'll see you.
It is crazy how different people will treat you when you learn how to speak better. I didn't realize how much being well-spoken mattered until I became more intentional with my language. The second I started slowing down my speech, articulating my thoughts better, and using language that made me sound more educated, people's entire perception of me shifted. Suddenly, I was being taken more seriously. My opinions had more weight in conversations and everyday interactions, like going for coffee, meeting new people, networking. And I noticed I got more respect and that people were drawn to me more from the aura that I was creating for myself around being more articulate with my words, having better speech. Like, it was crazy. But what I realized about being well-spoken is it's not about the perfect language or using big words. It's about clarity, confidence, and poise. And when I started speaking differently, not only did I see myself differently, but people started treating me differently. So ladies, this is your sign to start practicing speaking more eloquent, more articulate. Because how you speak is how people experience your energy. And when you master your words, you can master the room.
Here's 5 things I've noticed that makes a really good conversationalist. And this is coming from somebody who was born an introvert, was trained to be an extrovert, and now feels very confident holding my own in conversations. Still an introvert at heart, but I do have a daughter who is incredibly extroverted now, and I feel like she's noticed these things. One is approach first. If you've read like the 48 laws of power or anything kind of more self-serving and putting you in a position of power, this is going to be contradictory. But if your goal is to feel like a very safe human being to people and have deep relationships, that's where we're going with this. First of all, when your kid sees you approaching other people first, you're showing your kid that you're very confident holding your own, having conversations, and you're just a people person. They adopt that. But also, you're showing the person that you're going up to that you're just there to love them. Now, approaching other people first might seem like you're risking rejection, and you might have rejection, but you're also making sure that you're conquering that risk so that you feel very inviting, very safe, and a very warm personality. Personally, when somebody approaches me first, I always feel loved. Remembering a fact about someone, I experienced this past weekend where I met somebody who had like a leadership role, and I introduced myself and they said my name 2 times over, like, oh, it's interesting you said that, Hannah, or this is what I think about that, Hannah. And I knew it was because they were going to remember my name. They were like training their mind on how do I remember this person's name when I cross paths with them again. And that's a huge sign of intelligence. Remembering somebody's birthday, their kids, the kids' ages, the thing that they're doing for a job or they're passionate about, all of those show that when you bring that back up in a conversation, that you remembered that about someone, that you valued them. Huge sign of social intelligence. Never saying an unkind thing about somebody, hard, because we live in a gossip-centered culture. Personally, I think gossip is the language of the bored, and if somebody starts going down that trail, correcting them, not in a way of like, hey, we don't gossip about them, but like turning it for good, shows that you respect that person's ton, you respect the person they're talking about, and you respect yourself, and that you don't want to be in that situation. It also shows that person, even if they're like, ugh, I kind of want to talk about that, it shows them that you won't gossip about them. Because if you're going across the line of like, when somebody wrongs me, I'm going to gossip about them, or when I'm bored or I'm just judgmental, like, it shows that person that you are capable of gossiping about them, and then it shows them that you're not a safe person. And remember, our goal here is to be a safe person and also show our kids that we are safe for them too. That's why we don't gossip about them, but that's a whole other story for another time. Leave them knowing your excitement. That means when you are exiting a conversation, always leave somebody with an affirmation. If that is something that you talked about and you're like, hey, I'm really glad we talked about that. You are so wise and you have good, insightful thoughts. Or, hey, I loved seeing you. I'd love to see you again. Or, when I see you, it feels so exciting and it makes me feel inspired. Things like that leave somebody without wondering, where did we leave off on the conversation? Did that person like me? We just live in a culture that is so full of insecurity and anxiety and honestly just overthinking, that when you like solidify that you enjoyed that person, the point is that the key of being a good conversationalist is that you leave people better than you started. And this isn't something that I'm saying I'm doing perfectly, but it's something that I want to continue to grow in, and it's something that I've observed that other people do really well in conversation. I also wrote like 5 more tips that I've noticed on my Substack, but honestly, I'm running out of time. So if you want to go watch that or read that, you can read that on my Substack. Maybe I'll do another video, but being a good conversationalist is a really cool skill that we can all learn to do better in.